Hello and welcome back to Tricolor Gaming with me, Fletcher. And welcome to my review of episode 4 of season 2 of Prehistoric Planet, this being the Oceans episode. If you haven't seen my reviews of the other episodes, please do go and give them a watch, as it all helps with the algorithm. So what are my thoughts about the Oceans episode, this being the episode I was most looking forward to? It's okay, you know, it's alright. There's nothing massively special about it. It's an okay episode. The episode starts with us following a type of mosasaur called Phosphorosaurus. This is actually quite a small mosasaur, and I think it's good that the episode doesn't just focus straight away on a big 50-foot long supersized mosasaur, that actually, you know, teaching the audience that yes, Jurassic World's mosasaur is very impressive, but actually the mosasaur family tree is very large and has a lot of different and interesting species inside of it. And the episode basically rounds up the current paleontological theory that this mini mosasaur, which comes from Belgium and Japan, actually. The current paleontological theory is that they mostly hunted at night because they have very large eyes for their body size, and actually the positioning of their eyes. I was reading a study, which I'll include a picture in the edit. They were doing studies on Mosasaurus vision, and Phosphorosaurus seems to have very good vision. So yeah, the current theory is that they're night hunters, and the episode basically shows off these Phosphorosaurus attacking these glowing lantern fish. It's a very visually impressive scene, and it does remind me of the glow-in-the-dark ammonites that we had in season 1. After this, we move to looking at Hesperionis. So we have these aquatic Hesperionis birds fighting over fish, and they're soon joined by the ugliest fish in the world, the Xiphactinus. And yet, it's still an ugly heck of a fish that you would not want to run into. I think Nigel Marvin's opinion on the Xiphactinus from Sea Monsters definitely suits here as well. They're very ugly, very fearsome looking fish. And basically the Xiphactinus end up getting bored of eating fish and swallowing Hesperionis whole, and then in fact attacking each other. These are not very friendly fish, but it's nice to see these other Cretaceous period animals, the Xiphactinus, the Hesperionis, getting some limelight. It would have been nice to see Archelon, but no such luck, I'm afraid. A lot of the episode focuses on ammonites, and we watch baby ammonites being born and then getting back to dry land. A lot of them unfortunately getting stuck on rocks and dying, where we have a very slight appearance of baby Pyroraptors just for this little episode, but also I think it's just a little name recognition there, like it was when we had the Atrociraptor show up in series 1. I think this is just a little Jurassic World name dropping here. We follow the ammonites in two different sections of the episode, one with the babies just being born, and then one with these sort of ammonite gardens, where we see lots of different species of ammonite. And again, it's nice to see the episode showing that there's actually not, you know, not all ammonites were just the semicircular curled ones that, you know, we all get in fossil collections and stuff, but actually there's a huge range of different shapes and sizes of ammonite. So again, it was nice to see that being shown on screen. The big middle point of the episode, and probably the only highlight of the episode for me, is the attack between a giant marine mosasaurus and a Tyrannosaurus, which is basically a type of elasmosaur. And the mosasaur demonstrates this hunting technique where it positions itself in what's called a C-start position, and then beats off in a really sudden sharp turn of speed and catches this elasmosaurid and breaches, and that's one of the trailer shots that we saw the mosasaur breaching. It's probably like the most sort of wow moment in this particular episode, and again it does remind me of the Liplorodon attack in Walking with Dinosaurs, that same sort of wow moment. Just a minor criticism here, they do at one point reuse footage from the season 1 episode about Hoffman's mosasaur here in the season 2 episode with this mosasaurus. You'll notice that the mosasaur, there's a scene where the mosasaur appears to have this red back for a split second, and the sea color changes as well. That's the season 1 shot. And then in the season 2 shots, the mosasaur is actually all grey, there's no red on it at all, and the sea goes back to being a slightly different color. And you know, reusing footage is a staple of all sorts of CG shows. Star Trek used to do it all of the time. So it's not a criticism per se, you know, it's what's done, but it does happen here. The final part of this episode looks at these weird polar plesiosaurs, more Torneria, and describes how they have very weird teeth which allow them to sieve mud for prey. And they're the only plesiosaurs to have evolved this method of teeth positioning. Most plesiosaurs, the teeth position downwards. These more Torneria are the only ones to have them facing outwards, which makes them very interesting. And then that's the end of the episode. So yeah, it was just an okay episode. The only real highlight for me, the mosasaur attack, and maybe the ammonite gardens. The ammonite gardens looked really cool visually, but apart from that, it was just an okay episode. To be honest, I'm not sure how you would improve upon the episode, so I'm not saying that it was a bad episode, I'm just saying it was an okay episode. I don't think it was as good as the first episode. I don't think it was as good as the Swamps episode. I think it was not as good as the Badlands episode either. So I would put this, so for the Oceans episode, unfortunately, in bottom place in my episode list, which is weird because I love ocean episodes of stuff. When, you know, the other Planet Earth documentaries or the ocean episodes of like Walking with Dinosaurs or Walking with Beasts or Walking with Monsters, the ocean episodes tend to be my favorite. So I'm not sure why this particular episode just didn't resonate enough with me. I mean, one thing I would say is that their choice of backing shot, the reef where they're doing the backing plate shots for, it's very brown and black, and I don't know whether this is because the reef they've used is dead or has been bleached or damaged by climate change, but the reef they're using for a lot of these backing plates, they're very bland in colour. The whole episode kind of lacks a lot of colour. It's kind of a very cold episode in terms of its colours, so I don't know, maybe that's why it just doesn't resonate as much as, say, the Walking with Dinosaurs episode or the Basilosaurus episode. I don't know, what are your thoughts down in the comments? Let me know, what did you think about this particular episode? What are your highlights of the episode? And do you agree with me that the Phosphorosaurus would be a really cool mini mosasaur to have in Jurassic World Evolution 2? I will see you tomorrow for the final episode, which is looking specifically at North America. So until then, stay safe and goodbye.